This is the Briar East Woods. The Briar East Woods is an ancient dune woodland that has been thriving for thousands of years. Today, they are being threatened. In 2018, the city of Hammond proposed their plan to build a bridge called Governor's Parkway.
The proposed pathway to the bridge is through the undisturbed wooded area, sometimes referred to as Briar East Woods.
This bridge would go straight through the center of these woods and destroy thousands of old trees, as well as native plant and animal habitats.
That will result in hundreds of trees being cut down and habitat disturbed.
There was a train issue in Hammond. For a period of time, trains would stop, blocking crossings. This created a lot of concerning safety hazards in the city. The trains have since stopped parking, but the city is still currently planning on destroying this beautiful and ecologically important woodland.
Hi, my name's Ken Rosick. I'm the founder of the Hessville Dune Dusters. We are a group that is dedicated to saving an area known as the Briar East Woods. The Dune Dusters were formed when we saw survey markers out in the woods. The survey markers meant to us that something was going on. And hence, we started the Hessville Dune Dusters, our group, and it gradually grew, now up to 1,100 members.
Cleanups are scheduled periodically using the celestial calendar. Over 150 bags of trash have been removed from the woods.
You know, people have used a lot of reasons why, these woods shouldn't be here. And one of the tactics was basically, kind of demonizing the woods, saying it's a scary place. And I just knew it wasn't true. So the first thing we thought of doing would be a great way to get people involved and organized and tackle that issue was to start to clean up the woods. Then we came up with the name, and that was the Hessville Dune Dusters. Because you see, when we dust the dunes, get it by cleaning them and things.
What have the cleanups turned into today?
Today, you know what? Most of the garbage is gone. And it's just kind of like tidying up, or maybe going deeper into some other areas that we haven't touched yet.
I mean, just for my own pleasure, this space is beautiful, and with less garbage in here, now we're at the point where we're like digging up stuff that was buried 10 years ago. We're getting that garbage out of here.
How we got involved is that we went to a Hammond Common Council meeting. There's a public comment section after every meeting, and we heard Ken speak, and we were very moved by what he said.
Yeah, I said, I gotta talk to this guy.
He saw me speak and brought Ann along, and we started to form a bond. Ann has been wonderful in our administrative portion of this. Her writing is absolutely wonderful. TJ provides a lot of energy. Whenever you're around him, he's like, yeah, let's go, okay, all right, let's go, He speaks, gets up there, puts himself out on the line and speaks at the common councils and other places.
We do all kinds of stuff. I mean, we plan events, we go to City Hall, talk to people, go to local events, local festivals.
The group attends all common council meetings to inform the public about the lack of transparency in the city government, as well as discuss the importance of preserving the woods.
We have taken it upon ourselves to educate the residents in the area. The information that's been getting to them has been dictated to them by the City of Hammond and the current administration under Mayor McDermott.
The train issues in the city created dangerous safety hazards for children walking to school.
Primary reason stated on the grant application for Governor's Parkway was to help kids get to school because trains were parking.
Trains stop in Hammond, Indiana for hours, sometimes even days at a time.
They were parking for long periods of time on a street known as Grand Avenue.
And kids needed to get over the trains. And so they would climb through parked trains.
With kids climbing over and under, there is a real fear the trains could start moving at any time.
The Governor's Parkway Bridge was supposed to solve the safety hazard. The truth is, the students were entirely left out of the city's bridge solution.
Governor's Parkway, geniusly, will put them on a 2-mile detour. And it's completely out of the way.
Students would still be tempted to climb a parked train to avoid the long trek, so unfortunately, the hazard remains.
And to not see that it is a safety issue is criminal. It is just as clear as the nose on my face. What has been designed or recommended is certainly unsafe for our children still.
Mayor McDermott knew Governor's Parkway would not fully solve the problem, and a solution on Grand Avenue was needed.
The kids that walk there, they're still going to have to walk. They're still going to have to go through the train unless they walk the long way, and I realize that's probably not going to happen with kids. I agree, that's the weakness. The kids that walk are still going to have that temptation to go through the trains.
If there's a weakness in this project, it doesn't solve that problem. Well, I find that kind of ironic since that was the #1 problem listed to the state of Indiana in their application. And basically what it is a situation created by adults, not by the kids, where greed and profit was more important than the safety of the neighborhood.
If you speak in terms of safety for children, if that's the reasoning behind it, and then for whatever intentions you divert from that safety issue, it's sad.
And it's clear to us, every single resident, if you talk to them, if they are somewhat knowledgeable about this situation, they will, in a knee-jerk response, say it's money.
It just seems like it's about that almighty dollar. It's about greed. It's about not being transparent in what you're doing and why you're actually doing it.
The INDOT public hearing held in 2023 was the first opportunity for authentic public input after 5 years since the project's start. Dozens of residents spoke about the Briar East Woods. They expressed the need for a Grand Avenue solution and the failure of Governor's Parkway to support children walking to school.
The trains are a problem. Let's find a solution.
Not a piecemeal plan. We need a plan that's going to work.
The kids are still going to hop the trains if they have to walk an extra 2 miles to get to school.
It's the kids that walk, that climb over the train, climb under the train, and are impacted.
And the current bridge plan will reroute them in the opposite direction of the schools, taking them up to 2 miles out of their way to get to the other side of the tracks. And I personally wouldn't want to walk those 2 miles. I would be tempted to cross the train as well.
We cross them tracks all the time. We hopped over the trains all the time. And it's not going to change because you put a bridge 2 miles down. It's not going to change.
That route will not help anybody. It's not going to solve the problem that you're.
I would like to have seen more regard to our children, because that's who it impacts the most. And you know what? If the only way we could keep kids safe was to cut down all the trees, that would be okay. But there's a better way to do it. An underpass will solve the problem. I don't think that an underpass has ever been seriously considered.
There's no community involvement in this. If there's no community involvement in this, we have to vote this down.
And I have over 500 signatures that we have collected from residents who oppose this project.
Maybe there are a couple more options we can have. Let's look into them a little bit better. Maybe the contractors they have in mind, I don't know.
The wrong ones.
It's all about money.
There's nothing we can do besides fight the development for these natural spaces, or they're going to be gone forever.
We're talking about kids having to hop trains, or the accident that they reported to the Indiana Department of Transportation as a reason why for this bridge. And this project does not solve that problem. An underpass solves this problem.
During the public hearing, INDOT proposed a Grand Avenue solution. This solution is highly favored by the residents as it provides superior service for everyone, especially children walking to school.
And then in the southeast portion of our study area, a railroad overpass could be built at either 173rd Street or Grand Avenue. These are a little on the lower side in terms of traffic volumes, but they are also on the lower side in terms of construction cost estimates. When it pertains to residential relocations, they're also a little on the low side as well.
Grand Avenue solution. It's a masterpiece. So you got 3 schools, bing bang boom, elementary, middle school, and high school, all on a line on Grand Avenue. And right there, INDOT priced it out, it'd be half the cost of Governor's Parkway plus a pedestrian overpass right there.
Through a FOIA request, Ken uncovered something that had been suspected all along.
They have a thinly veiled hidden agenda of developing the entire Dune woodlands. Under a FOIA request, Freedom of Information request, we uncovered a design with 68 lots and 2 apartment buildings going in there. And we know that is the true motivation for this project.
In the original proposal, there was multifamily housing.
We did that to score better because you have to hit certain factors, and we did score better. So there is no plans whatsoever. I want to repeat that.
And the biggest point that I can't understand is why can the mayor purposefully mislead a government agency like INDOT and get away with it? Because if he did do what he said he did, essentially lied to INDOT.
Although the mayor denied development being part of the project, the design for the bridge remains unchanged. As of now, the project is paused to perform further studies. This is the result of the public comments made by many of the residents.
The bridge hasn't been constructed yet because of the issues that we have brought forth. It's been on pause for over 2 years now, this whole project, under review.
The bridge hasn't been constructed because probably of us. I mean, I think if Ken didn't start spreading information about this project years ago and people saw the truth behind what was going on, this might have already been built. The community would not be aware about the details of this project and its downfalls if not for Ken. If someone wasn't there paying attention, I think it already would be here, and we wouldn't be able to be standing here in the Briar East Woods right now.
Do you believe these woods are worthy of preservation?
I definitely do. What's important about this site is its location. It's not just the fact that they're hills of sand. You can make hills of sand with a bulldozer. You can throw some black dirt on top of it, and you can even put in some trees. But you're not going to create what's there now, which is part of the Tolliston shoreline.
It is proven by scientists that years ago, a considerable portion of northern Indiana was underwater by what is known as Lake Michigan.
Over the years, the lake level was receding, and when the lake was building its beach at the south end at 169th Street, it was about 4,700 years ago. That's when the sand started being washed up onto the beach, and then the wind could blow that into some of the dunes that are there now.
Over the years, northern Indiana has become highly developed and industrialized. The Briar East Woods are the last unprotected remnants of that ancient history.
So what do you think would be the result of building a road through the Briar East Woods?
Well, that's never recommended in natural areas. I understood that there are some plans to level the dunes completely and put in a subdivision of new housing. If that's done, it'll destroy it all.
The Briar East Woods are proof of how nature can support a community when they aren't being developed.
Anytime you build a street, a sidewalk, a house, or something of that sort, you're lessening the amount of rainwater that can soak into the ground. That's a very, very important thing. That's what nature has been doing for thousands of millions of years. In the Hammond, East Chicago, Munster, Highland, Griffith, even now Sherrville area, the water is not going into the ground, it's going into sewers. And those sewers zip that water as fast as they can up to a place where they can get rid of the water. The water is not wanted. In Hammond, the rainwater is shunted into the Little Calumet River, and sewers simply can't handle all the rainwater, and so streets begin to flood. And if we have a heavy rainstorm, the water gets to be high enough that it's coming up into people's basements, and sometimes up through the sewer system. It does the sewer system in reverse. Briar Woods right now allows that water from the rain to go into the ground. It's sand. The landscape is made out of sand, and sand is very porous, and so the water disappears quickly from the hills. And that won't happen, of course, if the area is flattened and turned into residential neighborhood. And a retention basin would be almost essential, but there's not that much land to make half of it into a retention basin. Second of all, having all of those trees there help take pollutants out of the air, take carbon dioxide out of the air, and release oxygen, which is good for the city. It's also good for the soul.
These woods are truly a haven for wildlife. The diverse habitats attract countless migrating birds who depend on the pond for bathing and hydration during their journeys.
They pass through here and they rely on these woods, along with the deer and the fox and raccoons and squirrels and possum and occasional coyote and all the other animals that people see here.
A number of smaller animals, like frogs and other amphibians and reptiles, and would find it very awkward. You're cutting their house in half, and they wouldn't they wouldn't like that. The best thing, as far as I can tell, is to leave it the way it is, except maybe maybe make the paths a little more walkable for older folks and people who are slightly disabled.
The community hopes to see the ancient Dune woodland become a proper park, including the existing trails.
Ideally, I would like to see this turn into a park. That would be a dream come true. And if that's the case, then we'll figure out a way to keep the woods managed and looking great.
It'd be nice to have a kiosk at Parish welcoming people to walk through the woods and providing a map of what's there, and maybe making some brochure about some of the things we've talked about today, so that people could know about the area in which they live.
This is the last segment of natural habitat, right in the center of town. It's a geological treasure to have.
It provides a connection to the region's heritage. You know, the dunes are such a quintessential part, I feel like, of Northwest Indiana's identity and what brings people here.
People want to see it when they're driving.
Yeah.
People want to see trees and feel comfort.
Your troubles, once you get out here, seem to melt away. You're taken to a different place. And you find a spot, and you sit there, and you're quiet for a little while. And then the birds start chirping around you, you know, and you start to see things. Yes, exactly. It's a sanctuary. It gives you peace of mind and again, a connection with nature, connection with the world.
Having spaces like this add a benefit to this community that people who are concerned about power and money do not understand.
And this is a little oasis of calm in a very busy life.
We got to learn to preserve what we have and stop destroying it and find a way to work around it as other communities have done it.
They need to keep this. It's precious. It needs to be seen as that. They don't come back. There's not a replacement for a tree that big.
We are the people, and we must get back to that. We have lost our voice.
It's given the people who grew up here a kinship to nature and the universe as a whole.
A place for you to get away from highway noise and steel mill pollution.
We're going to keep fighting. That's for sure. We're going to keep fighting because it's so easy. This is so wrong. And the other solution is so right. You know, the other solution is so right.
It's a valuable commodity and it's underused. The one thing I think we'll all agree on is that it's underused the way it is now.
So, I mean, it's a 5,000-year-old geographic region over there. You can't put a price on that.